So my name is Sandra. I'm one of the biologists and guides here at Marine Dynamics. I started working here in 2014 and yeah, have been here pretty much ever since. Yeah, so we see the humpback dolphins quite frequently on our Marine Big Five tours. We see them mostly along the coastline in the shallow waters, and they get their name from, they have like a hump underneath their small dorsal fin. It's just a collection of accumulated tissue and fat, yeah. No one really knows the purpose of it, but yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Okay.
And when we see them, it's in small groups. Many times we also just see one or two individuals at a time, and they're more on the shyer side, so they don't approach the boats like common dolphins, for example, would do, so we hardly ever see them bow ride. Many times when we do encounter them, we see them in the surf zone rather than further out, so it is also quite challenging to collect data on those species, and yeah, this is why we don't know much about those humpback dolphins. You find these humpback dolphins in the coastal waters, in waters that are less than 25 meters deep. Many times we find them around the natural estuary and rocky reefs. This is where they forage for small fish they feed on. And very interestingly, along the South African coastline, you only find them from False Bay along the south coast to the Mozambican border, but you won't be able to find them on the colder side on the west coast. The population trend is seen as decreasing because they inhabit such a narrow strip of water along the coastline. It makes them vulnerable to boat traffic, fisheries, but also pollution such as agriculture runoff. Yeah, so they're not doing as great. Also shark nets, which they put out on the east coast to keep the beaches safe, is a big problem for the dolphins, as they get entangled and then they can't come back up to the surface to breathe, and then yeah, they just pretty much drown. We have a consortium called the SUSA Consortium, which is different members of different organizations along the coastline who are looking closer into the humpback dolphins. So there has been a few papers published. We're also contributing to the consortium by collecting daily photo ID data on these humpback dolphins. Every time we do see them, we take ID photographs, which is of their small dorsal fins. So although the humpback dolphins are endangered and we have less than 500 left along the coastline, it is the dolphins we see most often on the Marine Big Five tours. So we have sightings of them throughout the year. In winter, the sightings decrease a little bit because the swell picks up, and yeah, the South African coastline is rather exposed. So we struggle to spot them in the big swells rolling in. And then some common dolphins we see mostly during autumn. So they come through here when the sardines move along the coastline. And I would say least often we see the bottlenose dolphins. What inspired me was being at the ocean as a child and seeing my first dolphins, and I was so fascinated by them, so I told my mum I want to study whales and dolphins, and yeah, I just worked towards it and I never regretted the decision. I love what am I doing.